Amesota, hawezi afford kuwa sober, last kwa flesh inavutia ka aroma, lika ndio oxygen, hawezi ishi bila, ka sio customer, usikue dealer. Tough thing kwenda church, kusikia, nyi kwanza nyi mko na ma-earring, mko na ma-piercing, atu alike. I'm getting to hear people call me a sellout, I'm getting to hear people call me, I betrayed my brother, watu wananiambia, sifai hata kwa msanii. Moz mimi mpaka niliandikiwa this song. So this guy listens to the song. Sasa yeye amefika home, amesimama hivi kwa balcony anaangalia kwa like, mbona na feel nikani siruke? Na akaniambia, bro, if it is not your song, singekuwa hapa leo. PCA fulani tu iko huko ushago. Tuliimba hip hop. Wamama walikuwa wana dance.
What?
Wamama wana turn up. Wamama wana turn up. In this world you'll have problems, but worry not, I overcome it.
Acha injili songe, injili songe. 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 Funguo ulinipea, imani ukaniweka.
Niko na msanii mmoja mazee back in the day hapa hivi, alikuwa anaitwa Soul Child. Did you remember the guy called Soul Child?
Soul Child, yeah.
Brayo. Alikuwa kwa group moja kali ilikuwa na like when I think about old Kenyan hip hop heads, kulikuwa na msanii mmoja anaitwa Soul, now there was Soul Child. Alikuwa anafanya job na msanii anaitwa Izo. Broke chains to broke. Niase J. Do you remember any songs?
Wow, that is way back.
I mean, those are guys that I met in the
wow.
in the faith wakiingia hapa hivi. I met them yani walikuwa na they were like the only maybe 3 hip hop heads size mazi. I mean only
but the most I think wewe ndo unaweza nipatia like a good background of hip hop.
Yeah.
Gospel. Cause me, if I look at my background ya hip hop, I know more about the secular guys. But the gospel for me I think inaanzia probably DNG.
For real?
Yes.
Wow.
My fathers.
That's
Wanono,
your introduction to gospel hip hop.
Yeah, Esther, Juliani.
It's because now they how do walikuja sasa waka break ceiling. In terms of there were the few artists waliweza to become big and popular in the gospel music space as hip hop artists. And I don't even know if you would say, maybe would you categorize DNG as a hip hop artist?
But you know, DNG to me, he was like an Issa.
Yes.
Like it wasn't really on hip hop beats,
yeah,
but he was rapping.
Yes, he was. And he was good friends with Issa. Walikuwa chuo pamoja. So you can see that there was a lot of influence. Even by the time he was going to the studio, his album sounds very much like ngoma zilikuwa za kina nani. Za Ogopa DJs.
Yeah.
Hao ndio walikuwa na producer kina Issa saa hizo. So but akina DNG brought and gospel fathers, was there was a freshness that they brought into the gospel music hip hop. You know, because before that, man, kulikuwa wase walikuwa oh man, I can see the guys' faces, just that I forget their names.
Yeah.
But we're not many. In fact, Eskubamba tukianza, back in the day nilikuwa nachukua, because I had the sound system.
Yeah.
Nilikuwa na mics, nilikuwa na mixer, because I used to do weddings and things like that, and my decks now. So tungeenda tuna set up like tungeenda tu kwa bus stop fulani kama sasa tuende Buru hapo hivyo 58 opposite KG, tunasimama hapo hivyo kwa bus stop. Na set up alafu circuit alikuwa na run club fulani, pub fulani hapo hivyo kwa bus stop, kwa sababu liko na affiliation na wasa wa gospel, because actually those are the guys who are there now back like in the 90s as gospel hip hop MCs. Wow. Akina circuit, yeah. So na kina Big Ted ando alikuwa anawakilisha man, ando alikuwa anafanya ma gospel gigs. So tunaenda Buru place kama hiyo, mazee Saki anatupatia nare, alafu we just gig.
Wow.
Alafu MCs now would come, like you come, unacheki, I remember like now kina MC would come, and all over were the dance crew. So tunaenda mazee tuna set up tu ngoma. Like how you guys do street pop.
Street pop.
Yeah.
Because I remember this group. I don't remember the name, but najua number 8 was in it.
Oh, man.
Yo.
Jesus rocks the show. Wanaitwa mission driven.
Yeah, mission driven.
So number 8 was the second version of mission driven. Before that, there were other guys who were there before. Now, akina number 8, they were being discipled by the original mission driven guys. So kulikuwa na msee mmoja anaitwa Ken alikuwa ule mfupi.
Yeah, short.
You know,
I've met Ken a couple of times nikapa St. P.
Ken, in fact, I was walikuwa instrumental sana in my life for faith. Because I met him in Bar Point, they were very committed to the faith as young people.
Oh yes.
So kulikuwa na mission driven alafu, so they used to mentor even Sakaja alikuwa kwa hiyo group.
Yeah, Sax alikuwa kwa hiyo group.
Alikuwa Sax alikuwa kwa hiyo group ya mission driven. So but I remember tukienda for those gigs in the hood, whether ni Buru ama tuninge kwa ghetto like Madhari. Madhari mnachukua ile street narrow refu, mna set up stage mwisho kabisa, so mwisho wa street ndio at least wasiweze ku access mahali wanaenda bado.
Yeah.
And we didn't have much, but we used what we had.
True.
Na tungena na kulikuwa na dance crew fulani ilikuwa inaitwa .com. So all over alikuwa wale mababi. So .com alikuwa naimba na hizi ngoma za Yesu nakupenda kwa moyo wangu wote. Kulikuwa na ngoma kama hizo alikuwa na dance nazo. Alafu na matumbo, na manguo kwa on their diab. So but even nani alikuwa kwa hiyo group Arosto, DJJ.
Hey.
Yeah, so men wasio wametoka mbali bana.
Wow.
Wasio wametoka mbali sana. But there were such good formative years, and those are the things, those are the places where we've, when you think about, it's just that I can't remember some of the guys' names because it's been a long time.
Yeah, true.
But I was in the Little Foundation because I found some of them there already, doing gigs and being highly involved kwa huduma.
Yeah.
And then God akatuleta just to continue with the work that these guys had started.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget, bro, the group, the first time I met Gospel Fathers.
Yeah.
Tulienda mission Nairobi Milimani.
Wow.
Hapa hivi karibu na State House Girls. So Nairobi Milimani ilikuwa chuo ya Warui. So nakumbuka tukienda mission on a Saturday afternoon. And tulikuwa pale with akina DJ Josh. And so mazima studio si lazima hiyo chuo, maboys walikuwa na katu vile wanajisikia man. So masudio Majaro huko hivyo nyuma man. So gig imeanza. Wako tu huko hivyo nyuma mazee with whatever they are drinking and eating.
Wow.
Chewing at that time. Wanatuangalia tu man. Wasa wanafanya nini? Alafu so sina jaribu kwenda ku hype because this is new for them as well.
Yeah.
They're not getting it. And then so Samu was a student there. Samu from Gospel Fathers.
Oh.
And Ken was a former student. Ken had just finished the year before. So now Gospel Fathers went on stage. Bro, they used like all these secular tracks, yani akina Blue Cantrell, akina Nini.
Wow.
So in fact tukisikiza ngoma ya tukisema gospel unawika so tet. Alafu sikize Blue Cantrell is like very very similar, bro.
What?
They gigged for an hour. Yani with just instrumentals. Those jamas in their school, you could see the change in they could not believe that these are wase wako chuo now. Because their performance was sick. It was legit. I think maybe even my asking of that question of it's very instrumental because sababu there's so many people who just see the gospel and don't understand the rap side of it. Yeah.
And don't see the weight that it has. Because I think even in music, rap holds a very instrumental point in the whole fabric of music. Because I think it's the most inspirational and the most influential genre of music.
Yeah.
Because I think you're going to dictate everything that happens.
And don't forget, it's a culture.
Yes.
You get. So rap is a culture that has come from hip hop.
True.
It's part of the hip hop culture. And ndio kwa hip hop tulikuwa nasema there are five key elements kwa hip hop.
Yeah.
So rap, which is one, which is like poetry, like
rhythm poetry.
Yeah. Alafu kulikuwa na graffiti. kulikuwa na b-boys na b-girls. Which was the other one?
Kulikuwa freestyle.
Yeah. But they're the only 3. There were like 5. I think there were like 5 elements. Yeah. Alafu now dress code ina come. So but it's it's unlike any other thing, like R&B, you can't say it's a culture.
Yeah.
Unacheki.
Yeah.
But hip hop, it's a culture in itself. Like ikona dress code, vile unasema, there's the way guys talk.
Yeah.
There's the way guys behave. There's an attitude that goes with it and things like that.
Yeah.
That you won't get in any other music.
True.
You get.
And it's interesting that inafanana worldwide. Everywhere around the world, hip hop looks the same.
That's for sure, man. Mimi nakumbuka tukienda Kakuma kushoot video ya Jal. And this is this is like in 2000 and let's say like 2005. Tumeenda Kakuma kushoot video ya Jal. Mazee huko hivyo ndani unachikiwa toyo unazunguka mazee na matop za Tupac.
What?
Yeah. These kids from like South Sudan, that's how they're rolling, man.
Wow.
Wengine wako na the biggest molds. That's the influence of hip hop, man. Yeah.
So and even my asking is because I think that's a genre that the church shouldn't be able to seclude or push on the side.
Yeah.
Because it's a very important way to even ferment a gospel in a culture that does not allow it.
Yes.
Because even from now, the people who are not from the gospel, when you are a rapper and you speak to them, they will still listen.
Yeah.
Because they respect the culture too much to just throw you off like, ana rap to your God. So they hear you, wanasikia hizo bars wako like, there is something here. We might not agree with you, but if it is good enough, we'll give props to it.
They'll give you props for your writing, for your rhyming, whether it's the similes and the metaphors and things like that guys use.
Yeah.
Like they'll respect the craft. Sindio?
Yeah.
It almost, in fact, kumbusha ni kama like when Paul vile alienda Athens. Akaenda huko moja akacheki, they had all these gods that they had. Walikuwa nasema mazee, like they had all these many different gods, alafu walikuwa na moja to the unknown god. Basically, walikuwa na taku hata.
Yes.
And then after Paul finished talking to them, they're like, hey man, what you think?
Almost.
Yeah, it's interesting. Vile unasema msei inakaa maziko interesting as they're walking out. Ile kitu unasema inakaa ni interesting, lakini wacha tuendelee na hizo conversations baadaye. Ni kama unamtoka tu, lakini he had already passed what he needed to pass. And like now for me, even as you talk, I'm wondering, like when you look at you're a hip hop head, unacheki, and when you look at your background and your greatest inspirations, like who would you say, man, had like a significant influence for you to even fall in love with even the hip hop culture? It could be in the church, inaweza kuwa pia ni kwa before kabla uokoke.
I think before niokoke, maybe even just attaching a bit on even like my childhood.
Yeah.
I was the kid who used to cram people's song and then sing it to other people. So even when we had guests in the house, ningewaimbia ama niwadansie.
Yeah.
And in school, I remember, big shout out to Homeboys, because that for me was instrumental, because me, I grew up on Freestyle Fridays with DJ John.
Oh.
So like I never missed that. Like ilikuwa very instrumental for me.
Yeah.
So I started the freestyles in school. Hapo Raima, you freestyle here and there. And shout out to some guys called Edu. Na boy mwingine anaitwa Pau. And wase Raima walikuwa wananiambia, wewe ni mnoma kurap. So they would come just to hear me rap. Like hakuna hata anything else.
Yeah.
And I think at the time my biggest influences were Eminem, 50 Cent, and I think Nas.
Hey,
those were my like go-to people. Like these are the guys who are rapping.
Yeah.
And I think now for me now in getting into the faith, I think by virtue that nimezaliwa Jerry, ama most of my
upbringing
imekuwa Jerry. Like the closest people to that walikuwa now Wanono, Kina Shem, Juliani, Esther. Esther for me was like the guy who was almost untouchable. Like ilikuwa ile you'd hear Esther rap, uko like, hey, umecheki vile amepanga hizo words. Like ilikuwa like there are people who are rapping and then there's a top tier rapper. So ilikuwa ule mse mwenye like you're like, that is what I want to be like.
Like yours was Esther.
Esther alikuwa because I remember at the time my bro's favorite rapper was Riga.
I was going to ask you about Riga.
Because now for me it was Riga and Esther. Kwanza when there's a song they did together, sikumbuki hiyo song. Like I heard it nikakuwa tu like what? But then me listening to this because my bro anapenda very up Twitterje bougie rap.
Yeah.
So yeye ndo aliintroduce kwa Esther na Riga. And then now by mistake kuna beste yangu anaitwa Lazi. He passed on like time ya COVID. Yeye ndo aliintroduce to Juliani.
Yes.
And my goodness me. Because sasa mimi I'm a student of poetry. I love poetry.
Yeah. Wow.
Sasa nasikia Juliani nashindwa umse nikaye ni poet na ni rapper sijui ni nini.
Yeah.
So ilikuwa a different level of rap and siati alikuwa na rap on very heavy rap beats. So for me ilikuwa like so unaweza dupia hii.
Yeah.
So ilikuwa like a very interesting puzzle.
Yeah.
That naweza borrow from Esther, naweza borrow from Riga, nafu naika Juliani.
Yeah.
So nika like hii sasa ndio format yangu.
You guys, those are such dope MCs bana. Juliani was an anomaly. Mr. Vile Juliani huandika.
Chumvi kwa chai, skari kwa chakula.
Yeah,
what?
What? Urizonivo bana. Waso wangapi urizonivo man. And there's no hakuna ngoma nishaisikia Juliani from any of his albums. Nishaka hivyo niko umse hajani jenga.
Yeah.
Like all his songs speak to you somehow. I don't know if you've listened to there's the album he released during COVID. Ilikuwa na ngoma kama Mabawa, Masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's called Masterpiece.
Masterpiece.
I don't think many people have not listened to that album.
Yeah. I think hiyo ndo yenye bado haiko hata kwa streaming.
Iko kwa streaming size, I think so. But I don't think sijui kama ameweka kwa Spotify, but it's on Apple. At least I know that for sure. That album is so sick. I'm just going to check real quick. That album is so sick. And to see that the consistency that he has since he dropped his first album for Mta Mentality.
Mta Mentality. Yani, Mta Mentality is such a... I think unajua vile people usually say like there are those albums in rap that will always just have a place.
Yes.
For me, Mta Mentality will always have a place.
That's one of them.
Like, I think ukiangalia the way Juliani anaandikanga ni kama anaandika puzzle. Unajua vile ukipata pieces za puzzle ziko chini, you have to figure out hii na fit wapi, hii na fit wapi. So you can listen to the whole album and piece it together na ukwe like, well, umse ana make sense. But ukijaribu kusikia song by itself, utakuwa ni noma.
Yeah.
But ukisikia the whole thing, uko like, yo.
You know, you also mentioned about Nani. I was trying to see kama make a Masterpiece iko. Yeah, they are 2020. I mean, drop last year. Ngoma kama akina Snobbish Old Man. Hey, maze, stories za tene.
Man, me, I think I just fall in love with Juliani's pen because it's very thoughtful.
Yeah, very.
And then I feeling ni kama ana miss words zake. So it's like unaweza fikiria tu ni like hapo it's a play on words.
Yeah.
But then ukicheck hivi poa, it's not just a play on words.
Yeah.
Iko na meaning and a flow to it.
Umenikumbusha mistari zingine alikuwa kwa ile ngoma yake ya Bahasha ya Ocampo. Kuna place fulani yosema yosema njaa hasla fala. Unacheki. Vitu tunauziwa ni.
Man.
Alafu najua kuna wasee kuna vile manati drill yaka kivyao.
Yes.
You know, but he just has an understanding of culture and a way of being able to bring in the wisdom from the streets. It's ni kama kusikiza mhenga.
Yes.
He's a young mhenga yani. Because I don't know how unaweza Juliani vipi vingine.
Because I think for me, hata Juliani is very instrumental even for me in my journey even as for writing.
Yeah.
Kwa sababu niliona Juliani na his transformation. Me the first nini I ever had Juliani on.
Yeah.
Alikuwa uko fulani Maumau. Hiyo time hata ana makogo.
Yeah,
ako tu hivyo yani anakaa tu Juliani tu.
Hizo zile enzi alikuwa na vaa nini? Alikuwa na vaa kale kakofia kakroche.
So like me seeing him akitoka hiyo life to now him being pulpit kwa street, Mta Mentality. And for me niliona transformation. Juu naona umse ameweza kutoka hood ametoka na God bado wana bacon hood na hii mziki na bado wana thrive kusema God ni king.
Ndio hiyo man.
For me hiyo ni big deal. Kwanza for the fact that mimi nimetoka Iceland ni kitu kubwa sana.
Ni kweli man. Alikuwa anasema maze miss kwa boy wa crossword. Lakini siku hizi mimi ni boy wa cross na word. You know. Man. I was Juliani man. So those are such good foundational MCs to have under your cap man. And let's talk a little bit about your journey bana. Umesema umegusia ulikuwa unasema umegrow ya Jerry. And of course Jerry man is all Eastlando, wacha tuseme Eastlando has influenced Kenya's music industry as it is. Has this always been something that you've wanted to do from back in the day?
It's interesting that everyone else saw it but I didn't. I didn't think I would be a musician. Mimi nilikuwa nafikiria tu like I wanted to be a radio presenter. A radio host somehow and look at me now.
Unaweza host hii podcast.
Because at the time that's why nilikuwa nataka kufanya either I wanted to do something either in film or be a radio journalist. And I remember my dad was really a very open guy. Alikuwa very supportive of the arts that I did because I used to also draw. So me, I never saw the music side per se. I could do it, but sikuwa nimeona as people chasing it either as a career or something with some seriousness. Because the most about music we have in our family is that my shosho used to be a choir master. So now, even me telling her that sahi nafanya mziki and all that, she's so happy. Hata yesa zingine ndo anaweza nipigia simu aniulize, na mbona utoi mziki? Imagine that. So like it wasn't in the plan of everything. Haikukua. But then growing up in, cause mi ni wakukam. Mi sikuzaliwa mjini.
Mi
Sibon Tao. Mi nilizaliwa huko Kakamega huko. So I think nilikam mjini I think around nikiwa class 5. Ndo sana nikuja mjini fully. And growing up in Jerry is a very interesting place. Hata mkifanya ile pod na anaitwa nani? Rev Tony. Tony nilikuwa namjua a very interesting guy. Because at the time muko Jerry, mi nilikuwa najua tu anakuanga pasi, anakuanga mkali. Like we used to know of him, sometimes see him, but like we knew like he was a very straightforward Christian guy. Like it was known around the hood. Because hakuwa naishi far away from where we used to stay. So I think kulikuwa na influences kadhaa that every time unajua ukienda side ya kina Tony usipatane na Tony. Jua utaanza kuongelea stories za God. So I think kulikuwa na I think hood iko na a very interesting way of balance. Like if you find someone who's born again, they are really born again.
Sold out.
If you find out mse ako side ingine ako huko na ako huko fully. So there was a very stark difference. And growing up for me, I didn't know that I wanted music. I knew I could do it. Ningeenda place ni rape wase wanaiona. Wanasema utakuwa msanii mnomo. Mimi niko like msanii mnomo. Hiyo inamaanisha nini? Sijaiona hiki. Going to high school.
High school ilikuwa gani?
High school ilikuwa Kangundo High School. Kangundo High School where hizi matalent nini zote tulikuwa tunaenda tunazishinda. So I don't think for me sikuwa naona as a big deal. Nilikuwa naona tu like it's a talent, it's a hobby actually. You can do it and then life iendelee. Finish high school, get into uni, fanya a couple of raps here and there, and that's when now T412 was birthed. So hapo cause in school tulienda na one of the guys in T412 anaitwa JMD. So we went to school with him. Ye tulipatana naye shule. So coming out, forming a group, mnaanza kurap pamoja. So now the seriousness of it starts being very real. Mnaanza kuwa like wase wanalipuaga kufanya hii stuff. Kurap tu. Cause to me it came a bit too easy. So nilikuwa naona like mbona nalipisha wase kufanya hii stuff.
This something you can try.
Si unashika tu mic na una rap. But
Muhanjii.
Ilikuwa interesting that now as time was going on ndo nikaanza kurealize how people would pay for such a thing. Ama the seriousness of it ikaanza kuwa real as I go.
I remember actually you coming to Kubamba Radio for cyphers. And you know there are not many MCs who can hold it down like, you know. So this thing that you're saying is easy for you. There are very few MCs who are able to go for a rap battle.
True.
And here we are saying, it's a rap battle, but we're Christians, so how do you diss each other? Like utatoaje msee rangi mazee kama Mkristo?
True.
Yeah.
I think rap in itself, hata kwanza sahi like this whole year imekuwa like a beef year. In rap watu wako so excited because it's been a long time since people have been this competitive in rap. And rap pia is time yao, hata maybe vile J. Cole ali apologize. Wako like unadu like tunaget kwa nini una apologize, uni best yako, but where is the team spirit, what is the sport? Wapi your challenge? Because I think even in Christians should have battles and ciphers and all that. And I think among the newer faves for me ni akina Trevor na Ranja Mistari. Because for them it's like they take it as a sport, but they also take it as a I can give you all this wordplay, but ndakuachana kitu.
So even empty.
So even for me nikikuja in a rap battle, sikuji hapa ati nikwambie venye ndakudis ama ndakuput down. Ni mimi nikam nikwambie I can play with words probably even better than you. And imagine hata sikas. So ni almost like a challenge of I can do this really good, that I will not use curse words, I will not demean you.
And I'm going to uplift. Like now for us when you get into a space for rap battles, there's that show called Wild and Out. And they're always dissing each other, mazona toana rangi, it doesn't matter who you are. And so when you come into the church space and now we have a rap battle, so you can't go down that road.
True.
But actually what we can do is, si ati naweza kutoa rangi lakini naweza kuuplift na mistari zangu. Which I
ni kuiangalia uko like how probable is this? How can this?
Because rap man niko na kavile when I talk with Shana, was like it's about attitude, kuna vile unajibeba, kuna vile una deliver mistari zako, kuna confidence fulani uko nayo. Ukitoanisha msee mazee kuna vile unamkaribia, but
it's true. I think even in itself culture cannot change. Culture will always be culture. This song bado zitakuwa, watu wata battle, watu wata have all that. But I think now even in what Juliani would say, in Christ culture, in Jesus gnosis, so lazima to figure out venye sisi tunaweza structure culture yetu ya rap in church. Because hata si credible for us kufollow culture yao uko nje. Because their culture will always be their culture. Itakwanga si ufanye kitu hivi. We can't change that. So what do we do internally? Because sisi tunajua we love rap. So what can we do that we can still keep rap inside here? What can we do to still keep poetry in here? What can we do to keep dance here, fashion here? Hizi vitu zote. So it never really ends. It's about us in church. Tutaifanyaje?
Do you find like now that you are in the faith, that there's this thing about the hip hop culture? Alafu wase nakwambia mazee kuna vile unaweza kuwa Mkristo uko in the hip hop culture. Do you find that being something that clashes? Have you made peace to know that this culture, my job is to represent Christ in this culture that I've chosen to identify with?
I think initially it was a very tough thing. Tough thing kwenda church kusikia nyi mko na ma-earring, mko na ma-piercing, atuwa like kuona wase wakidiscredit kitu yenye mnadu cause hawaielewi. Kuona all that na bado mnaona impact ya kazi yenye mnadu. Mnaona wase wayanga wanasema mi nilikuwa rejected church juu niko na piercing ama nimeshuka nywele. But na find music yenye inaniongelesha na inani impact. So ilikuwa almost like unajiangalia kwa kioo lakini uko like but God is stuff ina make change. Mbona wase watu accept? Because there's one thing about even you as a human. Kama na serve church, nataka church ni embrace. Nataka church ni love. Lakini ukimiss hiyo love kwa church, unaanza kushindwa niondokee ama. Because I would say even for me, there has been so much love even from the secular world, more than it has been in church. Like niko na homies from the secular wananiambiaga msee, wewe mimi nimekutambua, wewe ni rapa hatari sana. like uni mse mwenye either nime kwa West tumepatana Alchemist ama tumepatana tu mahali kwa mall mse ananiambia I really respect how you write, I respect what you do.
Yeah.
But then unaangalia kwa side ya church haija embrace as much. So sometimes ni sort of kuna line niliandikaga a while back nikasema na serve na wase hawasikii but I'm grateful that bado pen yangu inaheshimika kwa world. In the sense that however much hapa star pata hii acceptance bado najua wase wenye hii kitu ina need kufikia inawafikia.
Yeah.
And I think it's instrumental so much so that hata Christ akisema in this world you'll have problems.
Yeah.
Moz your scripture ilikuwa gani ni puzzle sana. In this world you'll have problems but worry not, I overcome it all.
Yeah.
So niyo kitu ya sometimes naweza kuwa na serve. Najua by the way wase wani like but nda serve regardless. Nda serve church. Ndatoa ngoma wase wa church wasikie, wase wa world wasikie.
Yeah.
But regardless of how they will look at it, it's still doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I think hapo ndo word ikisema word ya God haitarudi void to him. Hiyo ndo kitu inamaanisha. That si mimi niko na mandate. Whether wasewa ni accept ama wakatae. Mimi mandate yangu acha ni serve. Nyi mtamalizana na Mungu, story yenu uko mbele. Me, my part is done. And I think it's a very tough space to be in because inakuanga sometimes a regular check to yourself. That usikuwe unatembea na bitterness. Nisikuwe Jonah. Niwaambie endo urapia wasi wako pale kwa like Z. Ama jamaa kwanza wacha wa dedi. Jumiwa wamekata kuni accept. Na hata nikiwaambia watasikia. You get so unajicheck always ukiwaambia God manze najua umenipe mandate na ni hard. Hawa si umeniita for ni vichwa ngumu hata wataki kunisikia. But nisaidie that bado niende.
Uendelee na ile job
bado niendelee nayo.
So do you find you know like kama vile umesema there's always that struggle that we have as artists to be accepted in the church. But are we really called to the church ama kwa msemazi anapata naye kama Alchemist na kuambia man yenyewe mazi mimi nimetambua kuandika kwako. Who do you feel at what point do you feel the satisfaction that you need or that affirmation? Is it from the church here ama is it from these guys who are not in the faith but are listening to your music?
Interesting. I think for me personally najua nimeitwa for the world. Like you hata I think at some point I fought it so much because nilikuwa like saa watu wa world nawaambia hawa sha decide wako huko hata na watu aje. But then I think nilikam to the realization that pahali umeitwa most of the time haikuangi very comfortable to you. But every time utafanya kitu hao ndo watu nikawa wana accept more. Na nikaa hao ndo pali the needle inawadunga even more. And I think ni okay kusettle kwa wase wa church watake kuni accept. But niko like regardless bado the work is still there to be done. And truly unataka church kuembrace. Unatayani cause
nyinyi watetezi wa kizazi kipya bana.
You are top of mind like ni nyinyi tusaidieni hata tufanye hii stuff. But inakuwa tricky kwa sababu pia tuko in a very I wouldn't necessarily say a niche market. Cause market ni kubwa but ni market iko very very sparsely separated people. Sasa zingine kuna place tu wenda unafanya hip hop hata wewe mwenyewe inakushtua wase wanakusikia aje. Kuna time tulienda concert I think somewhere in Ronga ama Kiserian. Moz sikudanganya me I was shocked about the reception. Cause your church ilikuwa unajua nika PCA fulani tu iko huko ushago. Tulimba hip hop. Wamama walikuwa wana dance. Wamama wana turn up. Wamama wana turn up.
Oh my God.
Like your visual ajaini toka kwa kichwa yangu cause I think the problem ama the solution
ukisema wamama wana turn up. Unajua mimi niko na wale wamadha wako negi hizo wake
makegosho. Wamadha hao.
What?
Cause I think to them ilikuwa very interesting that hao wase wa young wana praise God. Na wakisikia kenye tunaimba, kenye tuna rap ina make sense. Na wana relate nayo. So I think sometimes maybe it's a fight of maybe mnaweza kosa like the beats but for us it's about the word and the spirit that comes with it. Si hata ati tunadu hip hop ni tunakuja na spirit gani. So kaa tunakuja na spirit ya Christ hii word mtai accept. Unaweza i-deny cause unasikia beat ko like easy beats ni za kina Jay-Z amwezi fanya na easy but the truth is the word that comes with it ama the spirit that comes with it ni much more than that.
True that, man. True that. You know what, one of the things that I have to say I appreciate about you is you are one of the dopest MCs that we have. Let me even say, not just in the gospel music industry, but actually in the country as it is.
Hey, thank
You know, people just need to recognize that, Muhanjii, because you are ridiculously gifted. Like your writing skills ziko sawa, your delivery iko fiti sana mazee pia, and pia vilo jibeba. You know, like you understand. I think that you understand who God has called you to reach out to.
Oh yeah.
So, and I remember when Gigi introduced me to you guys. Because nakumbuka ilikuwa kwa studio when Gigi came and introduced me to T412. That was my introduction to Muhanjii. So at some point niko naulizana kwa studio mazi, nani mkali kwa hii kirende ya T412? So the conversations were between tulikuwa sema kati ya Muhanjii na Jemedi. Nani anawakilisha kwa hii group even more. You know, but you guys, I think you were coming in to continue with the work that akina gospel fathers walikuwa wameanza, because after gospel fathers we didn't have another unit of gospel MCs. After Wanono kulikuwa na kina, you know, Wanono gospel fathers were there at the same time. Then we went through a season na tuko na wase. You get, and then now you guys come in as young fresh guys. What is your first single, by the way? Mlifanyia hapo Macmillan Library.
Temple.
Such a dope jam bana.
Wow. Wamesota hawezi afford kuwa soba, last kwa flesh inavutia ka aroma, lika ndio oxygen hawezi ishi bila, ka sio customer usikue dealer.
My gosh.
See?
You guys were so fresh bana. And anyway, like it almost feels like my last couple of interviews, I guess, nimekuwa nitawasema kwa kama group wametoka, man. You know, kwa sababu niko na Manolo alikuwa kwa recap, Didi alikuwa kwa Kilele Takatifu, Shani alikuwa kwa P31. Alafu mazee kwa hiyo group mazee kali mazee ya T412. But you guys served such a significant role in the gospel music scene, man. I don't even think that we allowed your light to shine like it was supposed to shine, man.
You know, Moz, it's very interesting hata nikifikiri about all those people you've mentioned. Because I think sometimes it's really hard to understand seasons and what that season means. Because I think each and every one of those groups had a very important role to play. Because nikifikiria Kelele Takatifu, they had a very important role to play. Nikifikiria Christ Cycles. Very important role. T412. P31. Recap. Alafu ukiangalia from
those... Nafini kama mazuna nipatia punch, unanigonga ngumi mazuna kile una mention, man, I'm like...
So like that was a blow.
Oh, man.
You know, so I think even from us having such a time, because funny enough, during that period of time, every urban artist alikuwa kwa group. All the urban heavyweights walikuwa ni groups, hazikuwa individuals. And I think it was important kwa sababu during that period of time, ilikuwa sort of like a passing the baton, a transition. Because kutoka from Wanono, coming down to the groups, and then from the groups having individuals from the group. Imebath vitu mob sana. Kama Kelele Takatifu haingekuwa, Moji angekuwa, Didi angekuwa.
Ni kweli, man.
Probably hatungekuwa na cheza gospel. Ben kama angekuwa Christ Cycles, hatungekuwa na Joyride. Unaget? Shani kama angekuwa, hatungekuwa na hii paintings.
Ni kweli, man.
From that, kama nani mngine on my side, kama mimi singetoka T412, hatungekuwa na squad iko sawa. So I think it's sort of like and hizo transitions ni painful because people invested in these groups.
It was like blood, sweat, tears.
Yes, people invested in these groups. But then Moz, unajua the caveat nini? Easy groups zilibath wase wengine wenye wanakam.
Because
I've met some younger artists when wanasema they started rapping because of recap.
Yeah.
walianza
Wow.
kuandika because of T412. Walianza kitu kwa sababu waliona Christ Cycles. Waliform a unit kwa sababu kelele takatifu. So I think easy transitions zote, however painful, I think the groups did what they were supposed
It's
to
almost
do.
basically, it's like you're saying, unless a seed dies,
Yeah,
it won't bear fruit.
there you go. Na lazima yekwe chini ya ground. Because I remember with all the breaking of all these groups,
Yeah.
people were so sad.
Hey,
People
bro,
were devastated.
we were having these conversations, man, and we were saying, for us as fans, we are invested.
Very.
So when you guys are making these drastic decisions, you're not consulting us. Kuuliza mazee, hey, tunafikiria hivi wasee.
Mnaonaje?
Mnaonaje? At least kuna ka warning fulani. Tunafikiria, hey, season imekam kufika. Like wacha tuseme, like Sauti Sol walitupatia warning before.
Yeah.
Walisema mazee ikifika ni December, hii gig ya December.
Tunamalizana na
Hii ndio yetu ya mwisho mazee, tunachukua pause kwanza. So sisi tushadili nayo. Unacheki? Alafu sasa mazee ikifika mazee ni nyinyi mazee mmeamua man T412 ndio sisi hao P31 kelele I'm like man hatuna chance ya kuchangia hii conversation mazee tuambie hapana ngojeni tu kidogo man.
True.
Because I almost wonder if there is there can also be those premature deaths where you're like ingepatiwa two time.
Yeah.
Ingepatiwa two time, maybe there's kuna vile things would be different.
True.
But whatever happened, and now we can't even tell. Yeah. How did you feel for you when T412 was? When you guys decided to break up? Or were you prepared for that thing where you're like, man, I guess kama maboys tumeka chini na cheki mazee kila mtu. Let's all go our different ways. Were you prepared for that?
I think for me it's a very interesting question because for me ndo nili move away from the group.
Okay. Oh wow.
Actually mi ndo nilisema guys, it's been real. For me I think now I need to tell my stories.
Yeah.
Because unajua the group dynamics
So interesting. Yeah.
has it that everyone, because for us we were 5. 5 guys in one track.
Yeah.
And ilikuwa inafika place where yes unaandika a verse but you have more to say.
Yeah.
But you can't on that song because lazima ukip
Buzz.
this.
Buzz
Venye tumejipanga
Yeah.
lazima ufit this.
Yeah.
And I think for me I was even to leave earlier but I battled with it. I battled with it Moz for a very long time. Uko na hiyo longing ya there are certain stories I want to tell.
Yeah.
Mi nataka kutell stories zangu za family. Nataka kwanza kutell stories different. But I can't tell that story in a group.
Yeah.
I can only tell but kidogo. And group dynamics are very tricky and heavy sometimes.
Yeah.
So nikaona the best way to actually do this is do music by myself. Was I scared? Very scared. Because sijaifanya muziki by myself.
Yeah.
So I
and
don't
your
know even
identity
how.
was also part of this crew.
Yeah. Niko na my bro all through my life. 4 guys that I love and respect so much. So how do I just walk away from all
Did you
this?
guys grow up together in Ijeri?
We grew up together in church.
Okay.
Because to limit through an ex-can program ya Sitamburu.
Okay.
And that's where we met, interacted,
Yes.
and really formed a really good bond. But for me, Nico, like, moving away from this group, already, hata in the back of your mind, unafeel ni kama ni enemy. Because watu wanafeel ni kama unawaacha.
Oh, unatusaliti man.
Unafeel Judas vibaya sana.
You're abandoning our dream. Abandon dream yetu.
Tuko na dream, tumeplan, tumedu hii, tumefanya hii. Hawezi toka tu sai.
Yeah.
So you are not prepared for it. Well, they were not prepared for it. But I was prepared for it. Because nilikuwa nimebattle nayo for a while. Na nikasema, man, it's about time I just do this. Because sitashinda, after every year niko like, acha ndafanya hii mwaka. The year ends, niko like, hey, tricks. Acha ndafanya the following. And I think ilikuwa imefika place ya something had to give. Where it's like now, everyone has interests. Vitu zinaanza kuchange kwa group. There are certain dynamics that are changing and they're changing very fast. Sa hiyo mnaanza kuget a bit older. Priorities mnaanza kushift.
Yeah.
So uko like, well, this is a decision I can only make for myself. And truly, my brother hakuwa okay na hiyo decision. Because it meant so many things are going to change.
Yeah.
And really so many things changed.
Yes.
And
I mean, you were definitely one. I mean, the group was differently gifted in terms of everyone had a role to play in the group.
yes.
but you played a pretty significant role in the group. Yeah.
Because most of the time utapata mi either ndo nafanya hooks. So mostly niko kwa choruses. Ama sometimes we would switch, but mostly it was me on choruses.
Yeah.
So now that was a very huge change that inaenda kuhappen kwa group. And now hata ukitoa mtu mmoja kwa group itakuwa very evident that one person is not there.
Yeah.
And I think ilikuwa now a ripple effect to it, and things were not going as well as I thought. Niko like hata nikitoka but mnaweza endelea cause kulikuwa na hiyo conversation. Like you guys can still go on. Mi natoka kwa group but endeleeni.
Yeah.
But then obviously unajua kuna hizo kickback za obviously everywhere they would go mtaanza kuulizwa wewe msee alitoka. What happened?
Yeah.
And obviously sasa kunaanza pia kuwa na fabricated beefs.
Yeah.
Cause mtu ako like ule msee alikuwa anajisikia. So nata alitoka.
Yeah.
Hii tengezeni group. So kunaanza kuwa na vitu manufactured. And at the time there were just so many things that were happening very fast. Cause si hatujafikiria ripple effect.
Yeah.
Mi niko tu like mi natoka group naenda kuanza kitu ingine. Wako like well awezi toka tu. So there were so many things that zilikuwa zina happen zikifuatana that hatukufikiria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even as you say that Muhanjii, like I'm remembering about some of the impact that you guys had. Like as Kubamba, we've used some of your songs, Maze, to do altar calls and to encourage guys. I remember like there was one time tulienda, I think tulikuwa nafanya show kutoka Nyeri Baptist. And in that show we're talking about young people about the importance of abstinence. And we used your song Majaribu yakikuja ka Yusufu nitangada. Like Piga Chom was such a powerful song.
Oh yeah.
Even because, and what we loved even more was, here are a group of young guys and they're giving fellow young people what to do when the temptations come.
Yeah.
Piga Chom ngada toka kijiko. Alafu unajua your language is very ina resonate na wase wa young. And I think that for us, those were some of the things we were feeling, oh man, now where is this going to come from again,
True.
Yeah. But I guess like you're saying, sometimes transitions have to come and those transitions are difficult. But then as I listened to your music, even as you said that you wanted to express yourself some more, when I listened to your music, I was like, how personal are these songs for you when you're writing to us? Is it what you're going through? Is it what you're observing in the society? Yeah.
I think 3/4 of the songs are very personal. It's either something I've gone through, I'm going through, or probably will go through. And some of it is from friends' perspective. I've had a conversation with someone, amesema kitu nikakuwa like, that would be a good song.
Yeah.
And I think now that's literally vile watu wanasemanga msanii ni kioo cha jamii. So now it's you picking all these stories and creating something that the people will relate to.
Yeah.
And I think personally I love hip hop as a reference of stories because you can tell a lot of stories through words.
Yeah.
And in school my favorite subject was English. So me, poetry, similes, all that, metaphors, niko like that is something I want to learn and do. Because initially hata before niingie kwa group nilikuwa nafanya poetry. So nakumbuka the slam poetry that I think is the 60 something ama 50 something. Tulikuwa na Goofy and Shira ko Hat the Band. We were the last 3 finalists.
Yeah.
And I remember they tied on the nini. So it was a very interesting time for me because your time nilikuwa na battle nifanye poetry ama nifanye rap.
Nili ilikuwa na happen British Council.
Hiyo ilikuwa wapi?
Words and Pictures.
Yeah, Words and Pictures. Ilikuwa slam poetry. And I think it was important for me kujua that even as I'm telling stories, these stories has to resonate. Because kuna vile neza tell story lakini wase wanasikia hawaelewi for fiti. And I think for me, I realized I couldn't do that in a group. So vile nilikuja into a solo artist, ili make more sense. Na kuna songs nimefanya, mtu akaniambia. Kwanza, I usually don't like sharing it on socials. But there's a time a guy told me that hiyo siku alikuwa ameamua anaenda commit suicide.
Wow.
Like he had already decided, akajua today is the last day, so let me make peace with my life. Goes out for a walk, earphones on, nini. Because he was going through so much. And alisikia song flani nimedu inaitwa Naomba. So alikuwa na scroll tu kwa radio nini then aka stumble upon Pal Radio. Na Pal Radio ilikuwa ina play naomba. So in the process of kusikia and that song is literally a song where I'm telling myself but they don't stop. And for me nilikuwa nimefika hiyo place yenye na feel nimeplateau career wise, na feel nimeplateau life wise.
Wow.
And I'm telling myself but they usi stop, endelea.
You're encouraging yourself.
Literally encourage David encouraged himself in the Lord.
Yeah.
Encourage najiambia it's tough but don't stop. So this guy listens to the song. Sasa hiyo amefika home, amesimama hivi kwa balcony anaangalia ako like mbona na feel nikani siruke. Na akaniambia bro, if it is not your song singekuwa hapa leo. And I think sometimes as I don't know about other artists, but me uliza God confirm that what I'm doing is making sense to people. And I think for me that was confirmation enough that there is impact.
Yeah.
You might not see it tangible, not everyone might come and tell you that hii kitu ina change life yangu ama kuna part in a play, but there is something, just keep doing it.
Yeah.
And I think from the time I had that story hata venye naandika ili change.
Wow.
Because then ilikuwa this thing is real.
Yeah, you can't take it
I can't just write anything. I can't take it for granted. And I think for the past after nitoyo album ya Lost in Translation, nili take time kwa very serious about how I write. Because from that testimony nilikuwa like, well, I just can't write anything.
Yeah.
Because this thing is meaningful.
Tell me, I like that album title, Lost in Translation. Tell me more about it.
I think ikona being a rapper, ikona some double meanings or triple meanings to it. But Lost in Translation basically means naweza kuambia kitu hapa Moz, kuambia mse mwingine, by the time nafikia the 15th person, it means something else.
The same like that game we play, Broken Telephone.
Broken Telephone.
Yeah.
So Lost in Translation is sort of like a breakdown of me trying to tell people about God, who they wameambiwa so many things about that it's not what they think it is.
Yeah.
So in all these messages that people are giving from the pulpit, from the street, to the preacher in the market, to the preacher in the car, ni broken telephone to them. So mi nakupatia my broken telephone story of venye mimi nimehave na God. And also it could mean that I am just lost in the translation of other people of who God is.
Yeah.
Nimekuwa tu nikitry kufigure out who God is, but si Kenya wanaexplainia, I'm just lost in this translation that is going on.
Yeah.
Mnaniambia sijui in the Hebrew it means this, alafu mnaniambia sijui in Luo it means this, in Greek, in English. So mi nimelost.
It's not Luo, it's Luopian.
Luopian. Nimelost katikati huko hata sijui mnamaanisha nini.
Yeah.
And then for me now, the personal meaning for Lost in Translation is that I came from a group and now I have to give you guys art and I'm lost. I don't know even what to do. So Kenya nilikuwa nafanya kwa group, I don't know if it will suffice as a solo artist.
Yeah.
So this is my lost version of myself. So chukweni hii piece of me, whatever you make of it, take it.
Bro, that's so deep, Bana. I like that. In one of your songs, there's a place you talk about anxiety, you talk about depression, you talk about suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're going through, or were you writing on behalf of?
I think at the time, I had such thoughts. And I battled with it because I think nile kitu ya you're going through so many things that your mind does not know what it is.
Yeah.
And ni a personal experience, though not nitwangaje clinically diagnosed.
Yeah.
But it was there. Kulikuwa na hizo thoughts, kulikuwa na hizo I remember I dropped the album. I think time COVID ilikuwa imeanza tu. And
yeah, it was in that season. Yes.
So ilikuwa a very interesting season because there are songs there I wrote way before. Because unajua sasa vile nilikuwa nimekisho like nimetoka kwa group. I'm going through so many things all at once. I'm getting into working with people I've never worked before.
Yeah.
I'm getting to hear people call me a sellout. I'm getting to hear people call me I betrayed my brothers. Watu wananiambia sifai hata kwa msanii. Moz mi mpaka niliandikiwa diss song.
Allah.
Niliandikiwa diss track.
Inakuambia nini saa hizo?
Nimetoka kwa group, mi ni msaliti, mi ni Judas.
Wow.
You know, and being that
That's crazy, man.
to hear that from someone you trust ama someone you know, it hurts different.
Yeah.
Juu uko like at the time una feel niko unataka kuretaliate, but then you're like nafungwa tu a can of worms for no apparent reason, and una go through so many things because now there's a bunch of brothers you had, now you don't.
Yeah.
So you're trying to be stable mentally, physically. Ukifikiria, you have not just lost a group, you have lost friends,
Yeah.
you have lost people you are doing life with. So the dynamics is gonna change.
Yeah.
So to struggle with all that and still struggle with your newfound solo artist field, ilikuwa a bit tricky, and some of it was from a personal standpoint, and some of it was from just hearing conversation from people.
Bro, and I'm really sorry about that. And when you mentioned about the diss track, I was like, ala, kumbe tungekuwa na nini ingine ya tuendelee ama tusiendelee.
Tuendelee ilitolewa bana.
Oh man, I'm really sorry, but I guess you can see that if you didn't write some of the songs, you know, based on whatever it is that you're experiencing or what you're observing in the society, maybe that Jema would not have gotten to that place where he's like, I relate with this song.
Yeah.
Maybe pia mimi mazee, let me give my life a chance.
Yeah.
Let me believe, you know, that God has a reason why I'm alive today. Nisijirushe kutoka kwa hii building.
Yeah.
And there are many more testimonies probably that you've not come across, that your music has had an impact on people's lives.
Yeah.
And, you know, just talking to you and also speaking with Shani and Manolo. Last year, there's a conversation I was having with youth, you know, guys who are involved in youth ministry. And I was telling them about watetezi wa kizazi kipya, you know, like advocates of the new generation.
Yeah.
Because you guys are right there at the forefront. And we need to find a way of being able to champion you guys and fan that flame. You know, mshawasha moto, what can I do maze kuja kuongezea kuni kwa inari ndio iendelee kuwaka zaidi na zaidi, because Muhanjii, there's a way that you're able to communicate with guys that Juliani can't. There's a way you're able to communicate with guys that I'm not able to.
Yeah.
Because God has raised you up for this season, for such a time as this, to reach out to young guys who will be like, man, enye maze Muhanjii akiandika mistari mi na connect naye mbaya.
Yeah.
And the truth is, not everyone will cheer you on. In fact, your greatest battles will come from those closest to you, man, or the place that you expect to find the greatest support.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something earlier, which is quite significant, where you were talking about how Christ says, in this world, you go through many challenges, but be of good cheer that I have overcome the world.
Yes.
And when you remember those words, and you know that when Christ is sometimes talking about the world, in fact, his greatest battles ilikuwa natoka kwa wale wase his own people.
Yes.
His own people ndio walikuwa nasema mazi.
Man, you imagine, Moz, you're serving with people, and then unawaambia by the moja yenyu hapa atani betray.
Yeah.
Unawaambia hapo wewe kwanza, Jesus si hatuwezi. Kwanza wewe utani betray 3 times. I think for me, my biggest lesson even in the creative and my biggest lesson faith-wise imekuwa, just because you serve with people and they betray you, it doesn't mean you change.
Yeah.
Because ukichange inaonyesha life yako ikuwa transformed.
Yeah. In fact, umesuccumb, umeadapt to what they want.
To the world. And I think sometimes that's the tough part about transformation.
Yeah.
Because transformation ina happening in a very interesting way. That neza kana wewe sija serve.
Yeah.
Ama mi naonaga tu makosa every time uko hapa. Nasema Moza kwagi msemfiti. But then the thing about it is, I can still serve knowing that you betrayed me, and still serve God the same way, even before the betrayal happened.
Yeah.
Because kwa scripture kuna very interesting thing nilisikia, I think the past few weeks, that ni interesting that faith ndo inatusaidia kutoa certain things in our lives. And ukiangalia, Peter ndo the same person alibetray Jesus.
Yeah.
Na Peter ndo the same person boldly at the gate called Beautiful, bado alimproclaim na akashikwa.
Yeah.
So uko like, before time umse alikuwa na die, umse alimdeny, na time umse aliresurrect, alikuwa ameshapata redemption.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, Judas hakuwa anatafuta redemption. Alikuwa anatafuta way out. but way out yake ilikuwa death.
Yeah.
But angeseek redemption bado angekuwa hapa.
Yes.
Na Jesus aliserve now say knowing that by the way wase watani betray but bado aliserve now.
In fact alisema as one of you is the devil.
That was my devotion this morning. Yeah. Unapiga tu story na mse unamwambia get thee behind me devil.
Yeah.
You know, it's tricky. Yeah. It's tricky and the fact that unaserve now say they will hurt you.
Yeah.
They might go against you.
Yeah.
But have good cheer.
That's for sure.
Have good cheer. For me hiyo ndo kitu yenye nakwaga nimehold kwa hati yangu sana.
Yeah. Ujipatie encourage yourself, man.
Encourage yourself
bana. I really have appreciated that and when I think about your music right now, I'm wondering, man, Muhanjii, I mean you've been delivering, man. You've been giving us really great songs, bana. Like, you know, one of my favorite jams, then nimetumia mara kadhaa, and thank you for allowing me to use it. Mimi niko sawa.
Yes.
Skodi ko sawa.
Yes.
You know, it's a really dope job and I'm wondering, man, when you look at, you know, as you sit down as a creative, man, those scares you're like, man, ningetaka kufanya ngoma na msee fulani. You know, I'm like nikigonga ngoma na huyo msee mazee na feel nitakuwa nitakuwa nimeaccomplish kitu. Do you have something like that, Amazi?
I think for me, definitely as an artist fan, I know he wouldn't get into studio again, but if Esther ever wanted a verse, I am ready. At any point. At any point, I'm ready. I think an Esther or a Juliani.
Yeah.
For me, those are like people that I would want to work with. And I see work in terms of just like being on a track with.
Yeah.
It's like trying to even formulate, picking their mind creatively. How do they think? How do they write? Because for me, it's not just about the song.
Yeah.
It's like nataka kutap into your mind. How do you think? What is your creative process?
Yeah.
How do you write? How do you figure out ba yangu nitaiseti hivi? Nione if the way they write is the way I write.
Yeah.
How do they break down things? Like, I think it's more than just the song, but it's sort of like ni kama umemeet musema ingai
kama uko masterclass.
Exactly. Nika uko na masterclass na Paul mwambie sawa maromance ulikuwa unabongeshaje. So ulikuwa na break down because it's like very interesting and it's very artistic more than it's just about the song. Uko like I'd like to be next to you to see how you do your craftsmanship.
That's so good, bro. That's so good, bana. Those are great guys, bana. Esther, hope maziko umepokea challenge, man. Na Juliani pia, man. You have a young guy over here who loves your music and
super.
It's not just about going to the studio, but there's a lot more. And that's really good, man. I hope that the guys pick it up, man. Minta, I'll follow it up.
Please do.
I will follow it up. I'll talk to Richie.
Please do.
After this podcast, mazini mwambie, man, kuna mse ume bless over the years.
Over the years, manze.
So this has been really good, bana. And I just want to offer you, man, my support in any way that us guys can be of a blessing to you, bro. You definitely have it, man.
Yeah.
And continue writing, you know, whether you get 1 million people listening to the music or whether you get 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Bro, I think for us, I think, and even as I was talking with Shani, you know, sometimes our definition of success can be a bit twisted.
Yeah.
But our definition of success, the ultimate definition of success is when Jesus Christ says, well done, my good and faithful servant.
Facts.
You know, that's the ultimate, man. You know, that's what we should all aim for. And so I just want to encourage you, bro, and just keep giving us gems.
Yeah.
Keep dropping the bars, man. There's an album I'd like to recommend to you, man, to listen to. Even as we're talking about hip-hop and how we are part of this culture, there's a guy called Ambassador. Aliandika album inaitwa The Thesis.
Oh. I think nimesikia once ndarudi kusikia tena.
Yeah. That album, it was his thesis for his master's degree. And it was all about what do we mean that God cannot be part of the hip-hop culture?
Oh, interesting.
Alikuwa anauliza kwani mnafikiria tu God akiwa so sasa alikuwa anasema ni iPod. God akiwa na iPod ako tu na ma classical kwa nini kama unataka kusema mazikuwa hana ma beats.
Me nikiwa hapo studio, God ako next to me ako like 20.
Yeah, bana. And that's what, that's a dope album I'd like to recommend you to listen to, man. It's not even online, so I'll have to give it to you, bro. It's such a dope album, man. But I'm really excited, Muhanjii, about you and what lies ahead. And you are, like I said, you guys are the advocates of the new generation, man.
Yeah.
And so you're the ones who are out there to defend and to do what you need to do for this culture for such a time as this. And my prayer, man, ni kuwa God hata kuongelesha, and that you'll continue dropping those bars. And that your craft is going to continue being made doper and tighter. I remember a psalm, I think Psalm 45, where David starts by saying, my tongue is like the pen of a skillful writer. So I pray mazikuwa your portion, man.
Amen. I think maybe even an exclusive. This year I'm dropping an EP.
Yay!
And it's a bit different from what I've done before. And it's initially nikianza, I was a bit scared.
Yeah.
I was a bit scared because it was almost like unajua zile vitu zenye uko like God is telling you to do, but uko like I don't know who this is for.
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, sawa, it's nice, it's dope.
Yeah.
But I don't know who this is for because it's a bit different from what I've done before. And creatively, it's a very interesting expression.
Can't wait.
Very interesting because hata for me niko like ni ile kitu yenye hata wewe inakuchallenge, niko like I don't know.
Yeah.
But sawa. But thank you so much, manze, even for
Can't wait.
being forerunners who are able to hold us, because musema the laborers are few.
Yeah.
The laborers are few. Na kazi ni mob.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I usually say evangelism is not work that ends. It's just work we find, because wakina Paul walikuwa wanafanya evangelism.
Yeah.
Si tuliipata tuna pick up pali tumeipata tuta pick up tuendelee.
Yeah.
Wenye watakam wata pick up waendelee. So I think it's a never ending work. And that work still needs people to work.
Oh yeah.
And na like yours kitafu umesema, like our definition of success is very different.
Yeah.
And the world has really made it so hard for Christians to be successful, specifically Christians, because then back to the culture haitai kuwa saved, culture haitai kuwa God, culture itakuwa anti-God. So the culture dictates that I need to pull up in a range.
Yeah.
The culture dictates that I need to have a 5-bedroom house. The culture dictates that I need to have certain things to feel fulfilled or be in success.
Yeah.
But I think what culture misses is that all that has never been the problem. The heart has always been the problem throughout.
Oh, that's so good.
So it's interesting that you will get all this, you will get the money, you will get the fame, you'll get the cars, but still the fulfillment won't happen.
Yeah.
And the fulfillment is a heart thing. It's a heart issue.
Yeah.
And I think venye kuna kwaga na illustration ya having a hole in your heart, and I think the hole is Jesus.
He's
So
the only
even
one.
yeye ndo anaweza fit hapo. So we look for things, we look hata for the success in the music. I remember I had a very interesting conversation with one of my friends. Na aliniambia, sometimes I feel sad that you're not popular or you're not big as I would think you would be.
Yeah.
Nikamwambia, man, all that means nothing. And he was shocked that I said that, because ako like, so inamaanisha utaki kuwa popular? Nikamwambia, even if that happens,
Yeah. So interesting.
what does God feel about this thing? Because mumwambia kukuwa popular si issue. Issue ni hati yangu nikikuwa popular.
Yeah.
So what happens when I'm popular? What is the state of my heart?
Yeah.
What is the state of my heart when I get that big song? What is the state of my heart when I get married? What is the state of my heart when I can't work with people? Because namwambia, at the end of all these things, your heart is always the issue.
Yeah.
It's not the things you have.
That's for sure. That's for sure, man.
So yeah.
You've brought out such nuggets, bana. Such nuggets, especially ukisema kuwa we all want all these things, man. Alafu najua dunia uturusha hizo vitu. Lauryn Hill alikuwa anasema the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Oh yes.
So that the devil will do anything and everything.
The devil is a giver.
Oh yeah, man, to take you as far away from God as possible. So so we need to be careful, and like you've said, man, we need to make sure that we get our hearts right with God, yani. That we allow him to come and akalie kiti.
Yeah.
Because godliness with contentment is great gain.
Gain.
Na wasi wengi hata hiyo maze.
So mean.
So good, man. Dude, this has been good.
Wow. Lovely. Lovely.
This has been such a good conversation, Bana. And Muhanjii, celebrate you, man.
Thank you, man.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait, man, for the EP to drop.
Yeah.
And I'm also excited about Shani's concert.
Oh yeah.
That's going down tomorrow.
Paintings.
Yay, paintings. that's a dope one, man. I can't wait for it, bana. Guys, it's been real. Thank you so much for joining me for the DJ Moz podcast. Today I was hanging out with none other than Muhanjii Sam.
Yo.
Yeah, man. I know Muhanjii, man, is a dope MC, one of the best MCs that we have in the country, not just in the gospel circles. I want to say dopest MCs hands down. Muhanjii, can I throw a span in the works? Or just ask you to do something for us as we sign out? Sindio?
Yeah.
Drop us some bars tafadhali, man. Tukisema kwa heri. Ukiweza kuinclude DJ Moz podcast hapo hivyo tukisema kwa heri, ambia wase wa subscribe. They can share, inaweza kuwa fiti sana, man. In your own way.
Okay.
Let it be in your own lost translation way. Yeah, man.
Before the podcast, I was lost in translation. Nilikuja na bars, and of course, hapa kuna vacations. Everything I spit is off the top. Na hata sina para. Kama unajua, of course, chini hapo kuna kipara. Moza kwa podcast, na podcast ni fresh. Dope lines na drop, and of course, mu stay daily ka fresh. Everything about me is clean cut. Na cheki cut ni fresh. If you wanna know, the name is Jesus. Bado na stay fresh. Millions of years ago, bado tuko on point kama ball point. Niko na ball on my back, 10 kwa back, Jerry na represent, but boy wanga Messi kwa buzz. But acha ni stop hapo, cause of course itaanza kukua ni kama niko back to work. See you back in work.
Hey. Oh man, we love you guys.